I know, no one cares about this guy, but for whatever reason, I just occasionally decide to look at his channel. It just doesn't stop. It's just the same thing. While we've been away, Reaper has managed to upload a video about the Crow, which apparently is just fine. I'm just surprised that there's nothing about how it's gay or whatever, which I guess, you know, maybe it's not. But you know what is gay? Agatha All Along. And it's apparently as boring as it is gay. I'm gonna watch Agatha All Along. I wasn't really, like, planning on it until I saw Reaper post his video, and then I thought, well, here's another opportunity to dunk on this guy. So still carrying over that bingo card suggestion, because I thought that was really good. We managed to call a whole heap of stuff on that. So this bingo card is just for the first 2 episodes of Agatha All Along. As I was watching it, I took down some notes on what I thought that he would say is bad about the show. And there's some extra ones in there, you know, there's some carryovers from before, like show is gay and DEI/woke mention. We will be ticking these off as we watch through Reaper's, I'm sure, very astute video on Agatha All Along and why it's terrible. So let's watch that.
Agatha is a fucking awful show and way worse than I ever thought it would be. Originally, I thought it would be a cringe gay show about a bunch of middle-aged lesbians trying their best and failing at being funny. And while that part is certainly true, I was surprised by just how shit the dialogue, acting, basic storytelling, and characterizations are.
Let's just double check something real quick.
I was surprised by just how shit the dialogue, acting, basic storytelling, and characterization.
Okay, yeah. Acting, basic storytelling. We've already got our first one. How good is it? Also, show is gay. Let's not forget show is gay. Now, I'm trying to think, does the lesbian cop complaint or something, I don't know, count when he's saying that the show is just going to be middle-aged lesbians and was also showing videos of them being cops? I think yes. Showing cop, calling the women lesbians, and then also wrote or something, I don't know. I gave myself a bit of an out, but I'll take that. So what? 20 seconds into the video, and we got 3 on the fucking bingo card already. Holy shit. He's so predictable. It's so funny. Also, is she even gay? Is she gay? No, she's married to somebody called Ethan. That doesn't really sound like a feminine name. Let's see if Audrey Plaza is, you know. Nope. Married to somebody called Jeff. Let's try Patty LaPoon, the 3rd out of the 4 main witches, married to someone called Matthew Johnston. We've got 2 more of the witches on here. So just for context, there's 4 witches that are like there in the show, and then there was one that is like on Twitter being like the lesbian one, right? Anne is in a relationship with actor William Jackson Harper, so I'm going to assume that that's a man. Last one, in 2024, Zamata came out as a lesbian. Oh my god, dude, no! Lesbians in my show! So he's got about a 20% hit rate on picking out who the lesbians are, which I think is about at the same percentage as Chapel Roan speaking a coherent sentence in those fucking videos where she's just crashing out. So, you know, that's something at least. He's in good company amongst lesbians.
The sheer level of cringiness is poisonous to anyone watching it, as we have some of the most embarrassing scenes ever made in all of the Marvel TV shows, which is a fucking low bar indeed.
Asleep in bed. Total loser.
So that's another hit on our bingo card. We have saying the first episode is shit and written poorly despite it very obviously intending to be. Oh, interrogation scene was cringe. Let's take that as well. Okay. Dude, we're getting like 1 every 10 seconds. That's fucked up.
So as I said, Agatha is about a bunch of middle-aged lesbians and their gay homosexual twink helper.
I wrote that he would call him a twink. I thought that I would tick it, but I knew that he would call him a twink. Dude, I can read you like a fucking book, baby.
Bunch of middle-aged lesbians and their gay homosexual twink helper as they have to travel down the not yellow brick road in order for Agatha to regain her powers. But because every character in this is an unlikable piece of shit, there is no one to get attached to or root for.
I really liked Agatha. I was thinking while watching the show, in particular, there's a scene where they're in a shopping center out the front of a Hot Topic. And I just remember, like, in that moment, she was just talking, and I'm like, oh, for, like, a character that is supposed to be, like, not annoying, but very dismissive of everyone around her and, like, I don't know, kind of, like, mean, she's likable. I like her.
And by the end of the 2nd episode, when Agatha forms her alcoholic Avengers,
I don't think any of these characters have even mentioned that they drink alcohol. There's no hint towards any of them being alcoholics. I don't know where he's getting that from.
Alcoholic Avengers, you hope that all these characters fail and die.
I didn't, but hey, that's just me. I gotta stop pausing on these ones because it's just so easy.
The show is also tonally all over the place, as it tries to be both serious and funny at the same time, but achieves neither. Because the humour is painfully unfunny, and the more serious moments are far too retarded to be engaging.
Okay, hold on. He's gonna provide an example, but on the bingo card it says audio clicking. What do you think this sounds like?
And the more serious moments are far too retarded to be engaging.
Reaper, buddy, if you had just watched the video that I did on you last time, you would have seen how to fix that issue. You've just got to fade them out, and then you won't have that weird, like, you're taking a breath and then starting another sentence. You won't have that. Listen.
To be engaging.
That's not good. You know what? Actually, future me editing this, can you fix that and show him exactly how to fix it? Thank you.
To be engaging. Engaging. Be engaging. For example, the first episode starts off as a True Detective parody, although it really shouldn't be called a parody since these cops are just as retarded as the ones from True Detective Night Country. God, I fucking hate that show. But during this episode, the writers try to make fun of and point out tropes with the genre.
It is a universally acknowledged truth that a lady cop cannot be good at her job and have a healthy personal life at the same time.
But the jokes they are using aren't funny at all, and when it finally comes time to be serious, like when Agatha is interrogating someone over a murder, the way she acts makes it look like she's a fucking clown. It's way too fucking goofy and just makes her come across like an even bigger asshole than she already is.
Cool. Alright, we've got two here. I'm putting in leaves out the context of the scene as well as... Oh, I can't include that. Is that misunderstanding a character's motivation? I'm gonna leave it because I think that we'll be able to get that again.
If she acted this way for one scene, then that would be one thing. But she behaves like this for most of the episode, and it's only the more noticeable since there is almost no plot, and nothing else happens until the last 3 minutes, as the audience is simply waiting for Agatha to catch up on what we already know.
I didn't know shit watching this. I'm also saying there's zero plot. So it starts with there's a dead body, and she's trying to figure out who killed the person. And then she looks through the evidence, and she's like, oh, like the book that the person had rented is The Darkhold. Okay, I'm aware of that. Alright, cool. Let's go do that. Oh shit, someone's broken into her house for some reason. Why have they broken in? Okay, now he's being interrogated. Oh, what the fuck? Everything in the room is actually not an interrogation room because she's been hallucinating this shit the entire time. But that's not plot.
Anyway, I'm not going to waste any more of my time on this than I have to.
There we go, another one, baby. I wrote it down this time. I didn't write it down last time. Let's not waste any more time.
So here is a quick rundown on this piece of shit excuse that the writers call a plot. It starts with Agatha, who is now called Agnes, heading to a crime scene of a dead woman. She gets over emotional at seeing the dead body, and I think why that is because she recognises the dead woman as the mother of the gay twink who we see later on.
I don't think there's anything that suggests that at all in the show, because we don't know who the gay twink, we don't know who the gay twink is. There's no mention of his parents. Whenever he tries to talk about his backstory, it's just nothing, and she is like, all of her reactions is very much like insinuating that she has zero idea who this guy is. It also helps that she directly like asks him, hey, who are you, by the way? You know, like, I don't know where he got that from. That would be a really interesting plot point, actually.
The reason why Agatha is so emotional is because she probably killed his parents and left a gaby in a nearby orphanage.
Because it's baby, but he's gay. So gaby. Jesus Christ, dude.
Or something equally boring and predictable. Seems pretty obvious to me that's the direction the show is going. But who cares? The story is as boring as it is gay.
The story is as boring as it is gay. There's one gay character, by the way. Dude, look, if it goes in that direction, that's kind of cool. If they do it well, they do it well. Like, that's mad. Like, I genuinely wouldn't mind that. I think that'd be alright, but I mean, I guess it's, you know, it's too gay.
So Agatha is given a library card by the other police, which is the only thing they can find on the dead woman's body. But she also goes on to steal a locket from the crime scene for no other reason than the plot needs her to have it later on.
Wow, that's really lazy.
A character picks something up. Very lazy.
Agatha goes on to check out the local library, which is just booming. I mean, there is a queue of people almost out the front door lining up to check out books, which Agatha doesn't find remotely weird, especially since this is the middle of the day and these people should be at work.
Let's just keep in mind that whenever you see Agatha dressed like this, it's because she's still in that cop world where she thinks that she's a detective. So everything around this is not her as Agatha. This is her as the cop detective persona that she's got, okay? Just like keep that in mind, and everything that he says is dumb. And that's because she isn't a detective. She doesn't know what she's doing. She's just walking in, she's like, yeah, okay, this is what's supposed to be happening, because that's just her life. They make a mention of this later on in the show as well, and I say that I mean like maybe 10-20 minutes after this scene. It becomes apparent that she doesn't actually have memories that date that far back. Not like amnesia or anything, but like if she really thinks about it, she can't remember things. So this could just be like she just spawns in and she's like, oh, okay, like this is just my life. This is just how it works, you know?
Not just that, but when the librarian says that the dead person they only just discovered this morning is a woman, Agatha just accepts her shit excuse when questioned.
Why do you assume it's a woman?
I don't know. Sounds more titillating.
I don't know what the problem with that is, especially when the librarian's whole personality is that it's like, oh, I'm a bit sassy, I don't want to talk to you. Like, that's kind of her whole deal. So that just kind of like, you know, her be like, sounds hotter if it's a girl. Like, that's just like, okay. And let's be real, is she wrong?
Both Agatha and the librarian act like assholes to each other before they find out that the last book on the library card was stolen 3 years ago. Agatha goes on to look for a copy of the book, but the section it's in has been completely burnt and just left that way. Now, if that wasn't suspicious enough, there also happens to be a pervert whispering to her between the bookshelves. But despite being such an obvious freak, Agatha doesn't even try to ask just who the fuck this guy is and what does he know.
She's all over the, like, I can't, like, you have to see it. To fully get what I'm, like, trying to say, you have to see it. Because the whole thing is tonally switching between, like, her being like, yeah, I'm playing my role, I'm a cop. It's like a persona that she puts on where she's like, I think this is how a cop is supposed to act. At no point is she in her right mind until she becomes Agatha again.
She doesn't ask anyone any more questions, and after doing the bare amount of police work that she had to, she goes back to her office where Aubrey Plaza shows up as an FBI detective. She goes on to drop the most obvious hint that she is a witch just like Agatha.
It's almost like she just magically appeared.
This isn't supposed to be some big reveal, and you want to know how I know that? Not even 15 minutes after she's introduced, she's a witch. What it turns out she actually is she's getting into Agatha's head to try and break Wanda's spell so that Agatha realizes she's Agatha and not this detective. Writing bad, misunderstanding character motivations, don't care anymore, I'm ticking that. Also, just on that, at no point is she trying to hide that she's a witch. Like, she's very obviously, she speaks in this weird way to be like, I know that Agatha's in there, and then Agatha gives her nothing back. Agatha's like, oh, what are you here? Do they take the body over state lines and that's why the FBI's here? And then Audrey Plaza's like, oh, okay, you want to like talk about the case. Okay, fine, we'll talk about that instead of Matt. Like, she's not outright saying she's a witch, because I'm assuming that based on how they're like, how she's going around it, the spell wouldn't break from that. She'd just think that she's insane. She has to come to realize it herself, and Aubrey Plaza's just like nudging her there.
After their meeting, Agatha takes the locket, which she stole from the crime scene for no reason, to be checked out, and when she is told that none of the three goddesses on the outside of the locket represent modern feminist career women, she, of course, has a problem with it.
It's triple goddess. Maiden, mother, crone.
What, no working professional goddess?
Offhanded, obvious joke, base as fuck. Let's say it's cringe. Let's say it's bad. DEI/woke mentioned. I'm calling it now. We're almost there.
The locket also contains a lock of hair, and later that night, she figures out that the first letter of every word from the stolen book spells Darkhold.
Who the fuck cares?
What do you mean, who cares? It's like, it is, the Darkhold is the book that is like the dark magic. In Multiverse of Madness, there's the Doctor Strange with the third eye and the whole like dark dimension. That's because he got like possessed, or not possessed, but corrupted by the Darkhold, right? What do you mean, who cares? It is a very big deal in this universe that it's the Darkhold.
She goes home where we learn that she has a dead son, which is definitely going to be the gay twink we see later on.
I don't know why. I saw the whole thing happen and I didn't even piece together that that was a dead kid's room.
What I think all this is Agatha role-playing as his mother, who was the dead woman we saw earlier on. Aubrey then shows up, they have a pointless conversation before they are disturbed by the gay twink with black fingernail paint on, as he breaks into her house trying to steal from her.
Black fingernail paint. Whoa, what are they gonna do next? I do like how, like, it went from, like, painting your nails in the 80s was, like, a cool, like, metalhead thing to do, and then it was, like, a punk thing to do for ages, and now you're just gay.
Agatha gives chase, but he ends up being run over by the old woman who wanted to kill herself back in WandaVision.
Just let us die.
He is then taken to be interrogated, but this whole scene is just fucking embarrassing to watch.
I already ticked interrogation cringe. Dude, he's rolling through it too quick for me to catch up. I don't know what to say. And again, the reason that it's cringe is because she's not a detective. This is just what she thinks a detective would do, right? She's like fucking, how old is Agatha? They live for like fucking hundreds, if not thousands of years. She doesn't fucking know what a detective does. She doesn't give a shit. That's like saying that like a NASA engineer understands how the fucking tip works, you know?
First off, she tries to be a girl boss by kicking him out of his chair.
I wrote girl boss. Oh no, I wrote girl boss for something else. I'm so pissed I wrote it for something else, but I knew that was coming up.
Before then delivering some horrendous dialogue.
The things that you're roasting me for are the things that make me dangerous.
Hell yeah, roasting me for? I fucking knew it. I fucking knew it. She's dressed as a detective is all I have to say.
And after that, we have the most cringe-worthy scene in the whole show.
Or totally lying. Let's find out.
What the fuck am I watching?
Why the fuck is Agatha acting like a fucking clown when she's supposed to be discussing a homicide?
Because she's not a detective. That's it. That's all I got for you.
So, after that fucking Oscar-winning performance, the gay twink then points out that the photos she took off of the dead girl are actually of flowers, and that she's tripping. So, to confirm that the dead body is real, Agatha goes to the coroner's to double check, and it turns out that the dead girl is actually Wanda Maximoff, but she was crushed to death in that god-fucking awful Doctor Strange sequel. So I guess this is just a representation of her and not the real thing.
Whoa, he got it right! He got it right by accident! Oh, fucking idiot. What a fucking nuisance, dude. That is so abundantly obvious that that's not her body, because like you just saw, it's buried under some fucking rock somewhere. Also, that second Doctor Strange wasn't that bad. I didn't mind it. I think he just didn't like it because there were two mothers in it, probably, and it was too woke. Because Wanda wasn't a powerful witch in that movie. She was a girl boss, and that's bad.
Otherwise, that wouldn't make any fucking sense. But then again, nothing has so far. Aubrey shows up again to explain that since Wanda is dead, Agatha is trapped in her spell. Now knowing who she is, she somehow is able to break free and wake up back in the real world, although this time she's naked.
So she was complaining that she was hot, right? So subconsciously, she's like, Wanda's dead. The spell, like, if it was subconscious throughout the entire episode so far, was like, something's not right. She's seen that Wanda's dead, and then is like, okay, I can break out of this spell. Let me break away. So she starts literally, like, shedding, like, layers of clothes off of her, which shows her going through the different time periods that, you know how, like, WandaVision, it was, like, each episode was a different, like, time period for, like, sitcoms and just TV or whatever. You see Agatha taking off her clothes and going through those time periods. That's why you saw her in black and white before. She was in the 80s, she was in the 90s. Like, it's all of that stuff, right? That's how she escapes, because she just started peeling off her clothes because it's a, like, physical representation of her, like, mentally and spiritually, like, breaking free of the spell. That's what's happening.
She goes on to make her effeminate black neighbour, who must be gay based on how he's reacting to a naked woman.
Dude, man, when I see naked girl, I go, oh, poopy, poopy. You cannot honestly tell me that, given the context of this, let me paint a scene for you. I want you to answer me this. If there was a neighbor that lived down the street from you, right? And for the past, like, week, you've all kind of started, like, talking about it, like, within the neighbors. You've all kind of been talking about how, hey, like, this person's been acting kind of weird. We should check up on her. We should, like, make sure she's getting enough groceries, cook her food, Just, you know, check in and just make sure that she's all right. You're telling me that then she walks out of the house naked and you go, oh my God, naked girl, yes, dude, naked girl, dude, yeah. The fuck's wrong with you, man? Life is not porn. Like, Reaper's the kind of guy that if a girl is out in a club and she has a nip slip, he will just stand there and just stare at her. This black dude is effeminate because he is like, you're naked right now. Like, I don't want, like, this is making me uncomfortable. And I don't know if you're in the state of mind to be aware that you're naked because you're not referencing it in the slightest.
Tell her what she's been doing all this time. He says that she's been fucking around for 3 years. And if this show wasn't already cringe enough, the effeminate black man goes on to describe Agatha as the girl boss she is.
You seem pretty lucid for a change. Aggressive even. Powerful.
So you see how in that way that he said it, it's not being like, you're an empowered woman. It's like, you seem like you're capable of doing, like, something. You see the difference between that and like, oh my God, babe, you're girl bossing at the moment. Slay! See how they're different things?
She goes back into her home and realizes that she can't use magic anymore because Wanda has sucked her dry. Not just that, but she also happens to find the gay twink we saw earlier literally in the closet, bound and gagged, although probably not for the first time.
Oh wait, you serious? Let me laugh even harder.
Was Bender supposed to be laughing at his joke? Was that edit to be like, I just made a funny joke, let me put Bender in laughing at it? Dude, that's really, really sad.
Aubrey shows up again for the 4th time and tries to kill Agatha before the pair of them say something retarded.
You're vulnerable. Only physically.
I mean, how else can you be vulnerable?
Dude, I think that does sum up Reaper. He doesn't understand the concept of being emotionally vulnerable with another human being. The concept of opening up to another human being is so foreign to him that he doesn't even realize it is possible. You know what I'm gonna do? There have been a couple times I've left it long enough. I'm doing audio clicking because it happens twice in that scene.
A terrible fight between them happens, but it ends up being pointless because they are both not allowed to kill each other. So, to avoid being tortured, Agatha tries to persuade Aubrey not to hurt her by saying it wouldn't be worth it because she's weak and powerless and that she should be allowed to reclaim her magic.
So Aubrey Plaza can 100% kill Agatha right now. I don't know where he's getting from that she can't do it because she's very clearly trying to through this whole scene. The reason that she doesn't is because Agatha's like, oh, you know, it's the same thing as fucking Acolyte because he can't fucking understand anything that's not explicitly said to him. That actually makes so much sense. Not understanding emotional vulnerability makes so much sense for why he can't understand a character's motivations because Agatha convinces Aubrey Plaza by being like, hey, you know, like, I'm not at my full strength. You've been trying to kill me for how many years now? And now you want to kill me when I'm defenseless and I'm just this feeble little baby for you? And then Aubrey Plaza's like, oh yeah, damn, you got point A. I want to kill you, you know?
Aubrey agreeing to this makes no sense because she seems to have waited until Agatha lost the Darkhold, as she seems to be unable to kill Agatha when she's at her strongest.
I mean, that's true. She can't kill her when she's at her strongest. She didn't wait until she's lost it. She wasn't able to find Agatha. Because Agatha had the Darkhold, there was so much... the way I think they described it was that there was so much, like, darkness, there was so much, like, dark magic around her that Aubrey Plaza couldn't pinpoint Agatha. But now that it's gone, she can find Agatha. That's why she's waited from the last time that she tried to kill her till now. That's what that is. But also, knew this was coming. Change your mind to not kill, bad, and out of character. We're so close to a bingo on this. Come on, we just need 2 more.
So why the fuck would she agree to this?
I don't fucking know.
Pride. But I mean, I can't imagine that Reaper takes pride in anything. I mean, have you seen his videos?
So, because the writing is dog shit, Aubrey ends up agreeing for reasons that don't make any sense, but she says that she is going to tell a bunch of other witches who can kill Agatha that she is defenseless, and that she has until sundown before they get her.
I don't think it was Aubrey Plaza that told the Salem witches that, like, Agatha was here and defenseless. I think she was just like, they're coming for you anyway. I'm pretty sure that's how that went.
Why sundown? I don't fucking know, and neither do the writers who wrote this shit. They just added this to the show because they needed a ticking clock to add tension to an otherwise boring as fuck story.
Okay, here's my counterpoint. What's wrong with being like, oh, it's this mysterious group of witches and they're coming around to hunt other witches, but they only come at sundown? What's wrong with that? That's just like a little bit of lore. That's like a little bit of fucking build it, you know? Makes them this more weird group. It's like, if they were just like, oh yeah, and they're just coming, they're on the car here, they're like 30 minutes away, by the way. That's way more lame than being like, and when the sun casts its last ray on the earth, they will come for you. That's more interesting.
And that was episode 1.
He says boring as fuck story. We don't even know the story yet. She just broke out of Wonder spell and knows that people are coming to kill her. That's it. That's all you know at the end of this episode. I don't know why you're like, it's a boring as fuck story. The story hasn't started yet. We had to go from the end of WandaVision to now, and you couldn't skip it because she was stuck in a really weird place. And it, like, genuinely, if they had just skipped forward to Agatha as she is in the second episode, it's kind of bitch made because they put themselves in a corner with her, and to write her out of it is good. I like that. I like that they were like, let's actually follow this character out rather than just being like, whoa, surprise guys, she made it.
Episode 2 starts with the gay twink asking Agatha to take him down the witch's road because she's already been there before. He wants to go down the road because apparently it gives you what you are missing. Now, what's probably going to happen is that when they reach the end of the road, it's going to reveal that the gay twink is missing a family, and Agatha, along with all these old, horrible lesbians, are going to be his new family by the end of the show. Let's just hope it gives Agatha a fucking personality, because all she is so far is an asshole.
I don't know if he watched WandaVision, but like, she has a very clear personality set there, and that's just a continuation from that. This isn't where you're supposed to start with this character. You're supposed to come in knowing a bit about her already. That's like saying that, like, I started watching the fucking second Avengers movie, and for some reason I don't know what Hawkeye's deal is.
So at first, she says no to his request, but then she says yes. And we also learn that the gay twink can't tell Agatha about his name or his past, and it has more than likely something to do with the locket she has. Now, either the hair is his or Agatha's, it doesn't really matter. But what it shows us is that Agatha put a spell on him, probably to forget what she did.
I don't give a fuck.
The story is so bad, but also as soon as they start introducing some story, I don't give a fuck. What do you want? What do you want? Do you want a story told to you, or do you not? Same as the fucking Acolyte, you just want to bitch and moan. That's all you want to fucking do about this show, dude. Either go, this is part of the story, and I'm just accepting that that's part of the story. It could be bad, but that doesn't mean that you should just be like, I don't give a fuck, if you're trying to actually focus on what the show is trying to do. If you're even in the slightest trying to actually watch the show, then maybe going, I don't give a fuck about these pieces of lore that they're giving me isn't the best way to go about it.
Anyway, to access the road, Agatha needs a coven of witches, so the pair of them head out of town, and the gay twink gets a call from his boyfriend, letting you know that he's gay.
Boyfriend equals bad, sad face. I can guarantee you, if in another shot, I don't know, someone answered the phone and was like, oh, hi, honey, it's my wife calling me now. Nothing mentioned in the slightest. But because he's a fucking gay, he has to be pointed out by Reaper. That's sick, man. That's great.
As if the black fingernail paint and the way he talks wasn't a big enough clue already.
I would like to add to that, the eyebrow split and the helix piercing doesn't do much to help.
Now, finding enough witches to start a coven sounds like it's going to take a while.
Right? Wrong.
Apparently not, as there seems to be witches fucking everywhere.
Where do we just find a coven?
Within any 3-mile radius, there will be a collection of witchy enough people to form a coven.
That doesn't make sense.
Why doesn't that make sense? Explain why that doesn't make sense.
And how does that work exactly? Are they spread out evenly across the entire planet, or are they packed together in every major city? I don't know, and neither do the writers who wrote this shit.
So they do know because they reference later that Agatha is one of the most renowned witches in all of North America, and then the gay twink specifies He doesn't have a name yet. He specifies that it's like, no, dude, like she's probably the most famous witch in all of Europe, South America. And he starts listing off all these areas. And it's like, oh, okay, like they are everywhere. And it's known to the witches that they are just everywhere. So yeah, the writers do know how this shit works because they literally wrote it into the script, you fucking moron. If you listened for more than 2 seconds to the show, then you would understand. Also, it's really weird to be like, this is the writer's fault that there's witches around everywhere. Forgetting that all of these are based on like decades upon decades of comic books establishing all this lore, establishing that there's so many witches around the country and everything like that. To put it on to like the writers and be like, these guys invented this idea. How fucking stupid is that? It's like, come on. To be like, yeah, the writers introduced this idea that there's all these witches here and just pretending that like the last like at least, 80 years of Marvel didn't exist is crazy.
They just need a lot of witches to be around because reasons.
Call something going to be explained later bad. I'm gonna tick that. Because by saying, oh yeah, you know, they need them to exist for reasons. Yeah, I bet those reasons aren't going to in any way be expanded upon in the next 5 minutes of this show, if not the next 5 episodes of this show.
And to show us just how many there are, after only being in the car for about 2 minutes, they have already found a witch they need.
That's so fucking lazy.
Yes, it's so lazy that there's a whole heap of witches. Yes, that's so true. That's so true, that thing that they wrote. It's so true. It's so true. It's so true. Like can I say? It's so true. Also, didn't he already use that cutaway? Come on, man. Yeah, keep it up. Keep it fresh. Come on, man.
When asked to join them, the witch at first says no, but then she says yes, but only after the gay twink says this.
Oh, please. Name a badder bitch in South America. Or Europe.
That was so gay.
Sorry, just picked up on this while I was editing. Can we talk about how contradictory it is that he's calling the show gay while also showing a clip from Glee? I will tick contradict previous point because who knows how many witches there are? The writers don't know where all the witches are. Oh my goodness, where are they? Oh wait, no, they do. Never mind, they do. And it's actually gay that they know where it is. Let's see if we can get another bingo before the end of this episode.
She points them out to other witches they need. The first being a black witch who sells candles. And you know this show is written by women when the first thing Agatha does to try and be funny is to make a joke about her vagina.
I'm fresh out of marbles and my pelvic floor is all over the place.
We get to do another one. We get to do thinks the sisterhood jokes are serious. They're taking the piss out of this, right? So context, the bald witch, she is like, she's about to make a sale with 2 customers and Agatha walks in and wants to recruit her into this like coven, right? So to get them to leave, she just walks in and goes, my vagina's bleeding everywhere. And then eventually they do leave, right? The way, if you watch the full clip of how she speaks, the way she speaks is very obviously like, not critiquing, but like just taking the piss out of people that like would talk about that kind of thing, right? Even the clip that he includes is kind of taking the piss out of it. But to be like, no, actually, they're saying it very seriously, and this is so gay and woke gone mad. It's like, no, dude, very obviously. This is intended as a joke.
So they ask the Black Witch to join them, and at first she says no, but then she says yes.
Yeah, no, so she says no at first because she's like, no, I don't want to be involved. Then she says yes because then Gay Twink is like, oh, hey, by the way, like, here's all of the current court cases going against you for all of your shitty products. You're going to go to jail for life if you don't try and get your magic back. That's what's happening. That's the no to yes.
And no scene is complete without the Gay Twink showing us just how much of a homosexual he is.
I love your Insta page, by the way. You totally minimized the size of my pores.
I took it out. I should have left it in. Oh my god, why did I leave it out? I left out on the bingo card, edits a scene out of context. I should have left on the bingo card, edits a scene out of order, because he does. Because when he shows her the phone, that's when he's convincing her to say yes to joining the coven, because then he starts bringing up all the court cases against her. That's what happens there. He didn't just do it to be like, oh, by the way, and I'm gay, and then leave. That's not what happened.
They move on to the last witch, who is a middle-aged Asian woman that dresses and acts like a teenage girl from the 80s, probably because that was the last time anyone paid attention to her. When the group shows...
Where the fuck did that come from? What the fuck? That is so out of nowhere. That's so fucking funny. That's so out of the blue.
When the group shows up, they say that if she comes with her, then they can find out what happened to her mother. And she does what every other witch has done before. At first, she says no, but then she says yes, because this show is repetitive as fuck.
I'm gonna change your life, Reaper. I want you to look up the word. Just go to Google and type in the word convincing. Boiling it down to, this show's repetitive because they say no and then they say yes, and completely disregarding that every character has a good enough reason to, like, want to be involved in this going down the witch's road. That's just, you're purposely leaving that information out to be like, this show sucks. That's what you're doing.
Later that day, they all show up at Agatha's home, but find out that they are missing a witch. So Agatha goes outside looking for one and bumps into the first woman she sees, which just so happens to be the woman from WandaVision who tried to kill herself.
It just so happens to be somebody that lives in her neighborhood. What lazy writing.
Turns out her name is Sharon, and she seems to be completely over her suicidal phase and has now moved on to her happy...
You're leaving out so much there, dude. It's embarrassing. It is embarrassing, the amount that you're leaving out. To the point where if somebody's watched the show, I don't need to say anything. In case you haven't watched WandaVision, the scene where she's like, kill me now, that's when Wanda's being confronted and everyone's like, you're controlling all of us. Please just kill us. We don't want to live in this like fake reality that you've created. Please stop this now. That's when she wants to kill herself. And now, who would have thought when the thing that made her want to kill herself goes away, fucking shocker, she doesn't want to kill herself anymore. Who would have fucking thought?
So Agatha, of course, tricks her into unknowingly joining her coven and risking her life for Agatha's sake.
Jeez, what a bitch.
Yeah, that's the point. She doesn't give a fuck. She doesn't care about any of the witches. That's the scene.
The problem with this is that earlier on she said that they needed witches to form a coven and access the road. So by having Sharon join the coven who isn't a witch, then that ironclad rule is complete bullshit. And if Sharon does end up being a witch, then how convenient is it that the very first person Agatha bumps into just so happens to be a witch?
Or the third option that I don't know how you didn't realize it because they expressly say it this time. Earlier on, they say the only way Agatha can take on a witch's power, she can't drain it from somebody because then she dies, but she can take on their power by being shot at with their power, right? That's what she's saying. In this scene, there's a moment where the three witches realize, oh, hold on, you're trying to piss us off, so we attack you with our witch power now, and then you have your witch powers again and we don't have any. That's what's happening. She didn't care if this worked or not, she just wanted her power back. Because the entire point of her going down the witch's road is to get her powers back. But she found a quicker way to do it. They say it explicitly, and yet somehow he just still doesn't fucking hear it. The only conclusion I can come to is that he's purposely leaving it out of the video to make the show look worse than it is. I'm also going to tick off, the spell shouldn't have worked without a green witch, because that's what he's basically saying, is that the spell shouldn't have worked. So let's go there.
Anyway, to access the roads, they all have to sing a very long and very gay song.
Here's another one. Here's another one. Complains that they sing. We got that there. Oh, baby, she's so full. She is so full for me. That's crazy.
Afterwards, the women bicker because, of course, they do. They're women. The house is...
Good one, man. That was good. That was a good one. That was great.
The house is then attacked by even more witches, as they seem to be more common than the cold.
These are the witches that Aubrey Plaza warned Agatha were going to come after her, by the way, just in case you're confused. They're not just some other ones that just spawned. No, these are the pre-warned ones that you had issue with before. So you had an issue that they weren't immediately attacking, but you also have an issue that there's so many witches around.
But the alcoholic Avengers managed to escape down the witch's road. And that's the end of episode 2.
That was awful.
Agatha is not only a terribly written, badly acted, unfunny, retarded mess.
When did he ever mention their acting besides the first episode? And he blamed that on the script. He blamed that on the writers, not what's her name? The woman who plays Agatha. Dude, he just fucking says anything. He just fucking grabs whatever he wants.
But the show is as boring as it is cringe, and the only people I can assume that this show is for are middle-aged alcoholic wine mums that look like the cast of characters themselves. And you know the type of people I'm talking about. They are the type of audience who don't care about stories or characters, and they only ever manage to stop looking at their phones and put down their drink whenever there is a girl boss moment happening.
Unlike me, who really likes characters and shows in things that I specifically like, and when they don't do things that I would have done I think is bad.
We have 7 more episodes left of Agatha that lead all the way to Halloween, which is actually appropriate when you consider just how much of a fucking horror this show is to watch.
Get it, because you thought it was because of the witches, but no, it's because the show's bad because of woke! Woke has ruined my TV shows! That's the, you know how there's the racist watchdog? This is the woke watchdog. He's aware that woke was happening. He was very upset.
Do not watch Agatha.
Instead, watch my videos talking about it. That's not cash grabby at all, dude. That's not. Like that movie review video that I did, like, there's movies in that I'm like, yeah, this is really bad. I wouldn't watch this again, but like, still watch it and make your own mind up. I don't give a fuck. If you want to waste your time watching something that I think is shit, then go for it. But like, ultimately, make up your own mind.
It's barely started, and already it's one of the worst Marvel shows that they've ever made.
No, it's not. I can promise you that Echo is much more boring than this. I don't know. See, I didn't like Loki that much, so I think for me, this is on par with Loki. Yeah, it's kind of similar to like that second season, the start of the second season of Loki, where it's like, okay, this is interesting, like I'll watch the next one to see, but if it's shit after that, I probably won't keep watching.
Anyway, that was the first 2 episodes of Agatha.
It's a piece of shit.
He ends every one of them with the same thing, saying it's a piece of shit. Like, dude, for God's sake, just, it's not the end of the world if you watch something that you enjoy, you know? Anyway, what can we conclude from the end of Reaper's video today? Well, we can conclude that he is very predictable. If we have a look at all of these, right? These are all very specific. Oh, actually, hold on. Let's just get a double bingo here, because he never gives an alternative on how this show could be better. Just says that it's bad. So what we got? We got 1, 2, 3 bingos here. Okay, not bad. And there's 4, 5. If we had gotten 2 more things, it would have been 5. I'll take what I learned from this video and apply it to the next bingo card. And if you want to see the next video, please let me know, because I'm sure it's only going to be another couple of days until he makes a video about episode 3 of Agatha, because as much as he says that he hates these fucking woke shows that they're making, he loves when they come out, because he knows that that's when he's going to get paid. So if you do want to see me talk about the next video that Reaper does when it drops, please let me know in the comments. I hope you did enjoy this video. Thank you again for watching, and I will see you all later. Have a good one.